Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital. Hope you're all doing great, and welcome to this new video here on Ethereum. Wanted to do a full update here. Quite a lot of people requested an update on Ethereum, and I still do have a very distinct, well, that's not a good word, but I have an opinion and an active analysis on Ethereum. So I wanted to make a video here on what's going on. What the different possibilities are and what I personally expect. So that's what we're going to do today. In general, look, it can be very volatile if we have some major headline news, of course, but overall, especially also with the volatility and all the movements in the weekend, the volume actually already is quite high. I mean, the volume right now for Ethereum is around $16 billion. If you compare that to the last month, and you'll be able to see that in a moment. If you compare that to the last month, that's pretty decent, especially for the start of a Monday. So that also means the liquidity is a bit higher. So we're probably not going to have massive spikes up and down. But still, like I said, headline news will cause volatility. But all right, so technically Ethereum is still in that same area right here. And what that basically means is that if we zoom all the way out, with the bearish pressure we had at the start of this month, we dropped down into this range right here, or into this major area between 1800 at the top, and then this level here at 1200 at the bottom. Which that level at the bottom is my favorite level. That's where I would buy. But what you can see right now is that we are consolidating here at the POC, right? So that's basically an area of price, and that's in this case it's between 1650 and 1500. 1500. Where the price is now finding balance, and that's historically where a lot of transactions have taken place. And what you can see from the price very often is that price tends to move from one of those levels, like we're at right now, to another one of those levels. So the last level was right here, and you could also see that back in the past. The last level was right here between 1800 and 2000, found balance there, dropped down to the next balance. And now the question is all right, well, we're in the middle of this range at a very strong balance level, or at least historically a very strong level. But are we going to get back to that balance here to the upside between 1800 and 2000, or are we going to drop down to this balance here to the downside between 1200 and 1100? And that is a very difficult question, because, I mean, Ethereum itself, unfortunately, doesn't really have that much strength. I do think over the course of this weekend, we saw some ETH BTC strength. Yeah, right here. I mean, it's consolidating slightly. But the trend for ETH BTC is obviously still down. And then outside of that, look, the markets have been quite strong over the course of the weekend. But obviously, if you go back to last week, they were still incredibly weak. So therefore, given that uncertainty, I think the best way to go about Ethereum right now is to take into account the worst case scenario, all right, or at least to assume the worst case scenario, and that would be staying in this balance right here, but eventually breaking down below the main support level we have around 1500 and 1480 to drop down into that next balance right here between 1300 and 1100. Let's call it 1200. So that is unfortunately also still what I expect at this point of time. Now, would I short Ethereum? No. We're getting quite a few signals from the altcoin markets, and just in general from the markets, that the market is bottoming, but the signals that I'm getting are very early, right? And because they're very early, I don't feel confident enough to tell you we're going to be able to break out here and get back into that balance right here between 1800 and 2000. If I do think the market is strong enough to do that, I will definitely tell you. And in general, you should also know that even though I think this is most likely for Ethereum given the circumstances, it is also a possibility that we stay in this balance and break out. But like I said, if that happens, I'll tell you. I'll make an update, because for this to happen, we would need some sort of a shift in the markets. And then I'm not talking about crypto specifically. Crypto will be fine, but then I'm mostly talking about some sort of a shift in the greater financial markets. So I'll keep you updated on that. For now, I'd say it's most likely we will, first of all, remain stable, right? I don't expect this crash today or tomorrow, but stay stable and then eventually get some sort of a move down. But I'll keep you updated. For now, that's what you need to know. Take care and bye.